specifically where we are approaching soon a post-pandemic world, and along with that, a learning and teaching system which will be called new normal, a part of the new normal. How to manage better all the e-learning resources that we are getting more dependent upon, to address on various aspects of these issues and to understand better the role of library or to make optimal use of our library resources to access all these e-learning resources. Today we will be having with us two stalwarts in this field, Professor K. Srinivas and Professor Saptarshi Ghosh, who will enrich and enlighten us on the various aspects of optimal use of library services. We are also happy to say that we have received a very good response from all over India, and we will have papers from states, extreme southern states like Tamil Nadu to extreme northern states like Jammu, as well as from Western India, Maharashtra, as also from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. We also have participants from Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and our seminar will be having a pan-Indian character, which is a moment of happiness for us. So before starting the program, I would like to give you a brief overview of how we have structured our program. We will begin the session with a formal inauguration from our college authority, our principal, and the president of our governing body. Following this inaugural session and the welcome address, as well as the presidential address, we will have our first technical session where we will have a talk from Professor Srinivas. Following that, we will be having our second technical session with a talk from Professor Saptarshi Ghosh. After that, we will have a lunch break. Following the lunch break, we will reassemble again to hear presentations from eminent researchers all over India. Following that, we will have a valedictory session, and with that, we will come to the end of the seminar. So to formally inaugurate the seminar with his welcome address, I would like to invite our principal, the principal of our college, Dr. Monojit Roy, to address us and formally inaugurate the seminar. Sir, please.
Very good morning. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Very good morning. On behalf of Barrackpore Rastraguru Surendranath College, it's my pleasure to welcome our governing body president, Sri Dev Rai Chaudhary, invited speakers, Professor K. Srinivasan, Head, ICT and Project Management Unit, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, Professor Saptarshi Ghosh, Head, Department of Science, North Bengal University. I'd like to welcome all the delegates present here from all over India. I am really happy that delegates from Jammu, Kashmir, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and from different other states joined today with us. Our Barrackpore Rastraguru Surendranath College was established in 1953. Presently, we have 23 undergraduate departments and 8 postgraduate departments. Our college is 4th cycle NAC accredited college. And according to UNESCO, COVID-19 pandemic has created a large disruption of education system in history, affecting nearly 1.6 billion learners in more than 190 countries and all continents. Closure of schools, colleges, universities, and other learning spaces have impacted 94% of the world's student population. But education can never be stopped. We at Barrackpore Rastraguru Surendranath College have stepped forward to overcome the lockdown barrier by launching BRSNC Live Classroom, a customized portal for teaching learning virtually. Even before the pandemic, we had started the blended mode of teaching, learning, and evaluation through our LMS portal. There are different tools and platforms that the college has launched since 2018, like learning management system for UG/PG students, self-assessment test portal for different science subjects, portal for practicing MCQ test for competitive examinations, and curricular-based examination systems. Library is an integral part of teaching and learning, always plays a pivotal role in these initiatives. In this situation, we wish to know what and how we can make better support to our stakeholders from the dignitaries and delegates joined today virtually through this platform. At the same time, we are always ready to share our resources with you, because we always believe that together we can serve or achieve our goal, and we can serve our. Again, on behalf of Barrackpore Rastraguru Surendranath College, I welcome all the dignitaries and delegates present in this platform in the UGC CP funded national seminar on prospect of library services in e-resource scenario, e-learning scenario. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for this warm welcome message and highlighting the profile of our college before all participants. Now I would like to invite the President of our governing body, Sri Deb Roy Chaudhuri, to address us with his presidential speech. Sir, please.
Good afternoon to one and all. At the honest, I on behalf of Barrackpore Rastraguru Surendranath College Poribar welcome you all on this platform. The topic today is one of the most important and vibrant ideas so far as the teaching learning system is concerned. I would like to congratulate Dr. Manoj J. Principal, BRSNC, Dr. Jaydeep Chandru, Librarian BRSNC, for taking up such an important issue. A special thanks to Dr. Sutapa Ghosh for her relentless support on behalf of IQAC. Rastraguru Surendranath College has already experienced gaps in regular teaching learning systems, and the development towards digitalization of the system has already been started years back. The pandemic crisis has acted as an eye-opener, and the setup has helped us enough to deal with the crisis period. We have developed separate platforms for taking regular classes and providing necessary materials to the people. The system is already also up for monitoring the regular attendance so that no time is to be wasted for it. The digital library system has given us additional support to find appropriate information when necessary. Technical supports are also to be provided by our response members to both teachers and students if any difficulty arises. This is an integral part of our daily activities. In this new normal time, we try to keep the standard through the help of the digital platforms. We hope that this national webinar will give us a proper direction for a more comprehensive use of such tools and techniques that will lead to a better tomorrow. Stay safe and stay healthy. I wish a grand success to the program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your presidential address and highlighting the relevant topic. Before we start with our technical session, I would like to humbly request all the participants to please keep your microphone mute so that we can efficiently participate in the seminar and without any interruption, in an uninterrupted way, we can hear the talk by our eminent resource person.
Madam, I have a single request to all the participants. We have to take GPS photographs. So I request all the participants to keep video on and sound system mute.
Okay, sir. Dear participants, as instructed by the principal, please keep your videos on, but please kindly keep your microphone in a mute mode. Joydeep, can we start with the technical session?
Okay, just wait for a while so that we can take the photo.
Okay, fine.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, Molly madam.
Okay, it is done.
Yeah,
Okay.
you may proceed.
Okay. Dear participants, please keep your microphone on mute mode. I think a few microphones are still in an unmuted mode. Okay. After the formal inauguration of the seminar, we will now move on to technical session 1 with a talk from Professor K. Srinivas. The topic of his deliberation is building the competencies of teachers for online teaching, a practical step-by-step approach. Now, before we start with the talk, I would like to give a very brief introduction of the stalwart Professor K. Srinivas. He is presently the head of ICT and Project Management Unit of National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration. Professor Srinivas has earned his doctoral degree in computer science and has been utilizing open source ICT tools and technologies in teaching, learning, and student evaluation since 1990s, both at the graduate as well as at the postgraduate levels. His area of interest are e-learning, blended learning, MOOCs, ICT-enabled pedagogy, computer application in project management, and e-governance. He is having more than 30 years of teaching experience, research, industry, as well as consultancy experience. He is an expert in e-learning, blended learning, MOOC, ICT, computer application, resource planning, semantic web and information retrieval modeling, etc., to name a few. We are very honored to have such a valuable and eminent resource person to enlighten us and to enrich us on the optimal use of library resources in this e-learning ecosystem. Sir, Dr. Srinivas, we are eagerly waiting for your talk, so please join the session.
Molly, am I audible? Yes. Now you are audible, sir.
You are audible.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning, namaskar to all the participants who are attending this workshop. It's indeed a great privilege for me to be part of this workshop, and I express my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Principal and young dynamic Joydeep and entire team of this seminar. who extended the invitation to me and to share my practical step-by-step thoughts and processes on what is the need of competencies buildings of the teachers for the online teaching. One of the important competency is listen carefully, and our organizers are requesting, please mute your microphones, but many of them are not muting. Because why do we require to mute your microphones and webcams? For two reasons. We are managing from home because it's almost 11:20. Maybe, I don't know, from your side, today it's pretty cold in Delhi. 2-3 times my wife shouted that, why don't you go and have a good cup of coffee and all. Okay, like this one, this can happen with any one of us. Okay, so my request, unless and until it is not required, please mute your microphones. Okay, so why I have been asking all these things to do, because tomorrow when you are going to use the same technique with your students, you will get impatient. You don't like they are talking too much and all the nonsense is being heard. So my request to all of you is, because this is a new way of teaching for all of us. So my point in this case is, that's where I am starting my presentation, and it is building the competencies of the teachers for the technology mediated teaching learning process, a step-by-step practical approach. Okay, I have brought one presentation, and of course, even though that is only meant for you, I will try to elaborate to the extent possible, so that I could able to do these things as such. Let me start my presentation, friends. I hope it has started. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So this is my presentation, which I wish to talk on this front. And so the question comes, why the competencies need to be built for the technology mediated teaching learning? So people have been, because for the last almost, I should say, 9 months, starting from March 11th onwards, before the start of this pandemic situation, I have been conducting this practical, hands-on, extended hand-holding workshops. I repeat, my workshops are hands-on workshops, and they are practical workshops. And third thing is extended hand-holding I am providing to the participants. Approximately around 29,000 was covered till yesterday evening. The number is not important for me. One important question people have been asking, that I'm using PPT, I'm aware of LMS, I'm aware of this, I'm aware of that, but whatever awareness you have in a conventional classroom teaching, has it been is it straight away get into this online mode? And very importantly, what is this online teaching? Only giving a lectures, extempore lectures, and after the lecture is over, if the learner wants to read, because we have different type of learners, we have slow learners, we have average learners, we have gifted learners. Like this, there are many learners are there. So if at all, if you want to have this kind of a learners, then what need to be done? And if you want to conduct the assessment and evaluation is very important for our teaching learning process. What need to be done? Where are the resources? How the resources are being assigned? And is there is a mechanism to interact the students offline? How we can do that? All these questions generally I used to pose to my faculty members. So that's the reason I've been saying that the faculty members constantly required to build the competencies in this technology mediated teaching learning process. Someone's microphone is still on, friends. It is disturbing me. Could organizers please mute kindly, please? Yeah, thank you very much. So what is this step-by-step approach? And is it happen on a single day? I said no. It has to have its own way of doing. So there are certain steps which has to be monitored, which has to be processed, so that we need to acquire the skills. Very important. Why? Because in a conventional classroom teaching, and your students knows how you teach, probably your colleagues knows, and probably your principal or your vice chancellor or your rector or your registrar, only these people knows. Both now the entire world, because whatever I've been teaching, and probably your spouse also watching, sitting in your home. There are many people sitting around the laptop and watch, irrespective of the subject, what he is teaching, how he is teaching, all sort of things, and language, communication, patience, quality delivery, all these things matters here. So that's the reason I've been saying that the constant updation and upgradation of the faculty members is very, very important in this online teaching. That is one part. The second important part is whatever the knowledge which you have been gaining in this workshop, and you must have known that the UGC is asking, University Grants Commission, the Honorable Secretary is requesting many universities to encourage the faculty members to submit the proposals for the Swayam platform. So, but unfortunately, many of the faculty members are of the opinion that submitting a proposal to the Swayam is like any research project, but it's not, because it's a technology mediated teaching learning process where you need to understand the entire ecosystem of starting from the course design to the course development to the course delivery and course transaction, and of course assessments, discussion forum, and all sort of things need to be managed. So the inputs which we are providing in this workshop could definitely be helpful for you over there. That is the second objective. The third objective is tomorrow already UGC is asking, because Government of India identified some of the institutions whose NAAC score is 3.46 and above. They can start some of their conventional courses in online mode. So what happens? So for example, some of your institutions have qualified for that one, you can do it. Alternately, those institutions having 3.01 and above, they can also submit the proposal, and there is a screening process. So for all these things, we required professionally competent teachers. Okay, and it's not like simply whatever we have been teaching, it's not the one which should be done. So in that context only, I'll be speaking about my presentation. And this is my learning portal. Of course, many of you must be interested to know about the PPT, what I am teaching it. Apart from my PPT, if you visit my learning portal, you can get many more things. It is not a website, please try to understand. It is my learning management system. And I created the learning management system with a zero costing solution. And my students are also going to access this. This is my asynchronous or offline learning platform where my students were interacting, my students are engaging before coming to my class. And once my class is over, they are going to access this material. So in if I am teaching a course, if I am teaching a paper, I have two components. And let me give you a scenario before the COVID period. So like anyone, I'm going to the college on a university on a regular basis. So, but before my students attends my class or come to my class, one of the important prerequisite is to go through the material which has been shared of that week, depends on the topic or the week. Number two, and certain tasks will be given for individuals as well as for the group. Number three, they need to participate in the collaborative learning environment like discussion forum, to engage themselves and to clear the doubts. Only after completing these three tasks, they will be allowed to access meet me in my class. Okay, so it's not automatic. It's not automatic that simply you come and sit in my class with a blank faces saying that, and afterwards make a nonsense comment that no, I didn't understand what he's saying and all these things. So whatever I have been speaking, not only the timetable, the curriculum, the process, the resources, and those things will be shared to the students well in advance. And even that offline interaction, I have been there. So this was the scenario which was used to happen with this portal before the pandemic situation. When this lockdown has been announced, still we are in the process of course, intermittently we will be going to the university, but students are not there. So what is happening immediately after the lockdown? The face-to-face interaction with the students was stopped, and it was replaced by virtual learning portals, virtual learning interactions, like using the Google Meet or Jitsi or WebEx or many platforms as such. But the second, the offline learning management system or a asynchronous learning platform will still going on. Even I conducted the assessments. Even we made an attempt to conduct many other facilities which is working on that. This is what precisely I just want to say here. And I'm sure that many of them are being doing. But the point what I'm trying to drive is we need to reinforce, because many of them must have been started. But my data which I've been using in my courses, around this 29,000, majority of them are using only the live classes. Very few of them are using the supporting mechanism after the class is over, like the learning management system. And some of them are simply sharing the resources, sharing the videos and e-content through WhatsApps and other things, which I personally is not the right procedure to do. Because, like for example, in this particular workshop, my job is to till up to 12:20 or 12:30. That's all. Because whereas my students, they have been with me for almost 6 months. I need to see that, because there are slow learners, there are average learners, there are gifted learners, and all type of students are there, and they have a different other problems also. It is my responsibility to see and who is having what type of a problem and how do we address them. And that's where I'll be using this technology and technology related tools which is showing on your screen. We have been attending so many workshops, seminars, webinars, and we were having so many things. So what is the bottom line of attending all these things? I look at after looking at that Alvin Toffler score. So for every workshop there should be a learning opportunity. For every workshop they must give a unlearning opportunity. And of course, they must be giving the relearning opportunity, so that we have always, instead of looking at no, we know it, we have been doing ages. Recently, in one of the workshop, a young faculty member who is maximum around 24 or 25, 26 years, he's been saying that the online teaching I know from ages. I said, sir, either you are old, or how can you know that it's ages? Your maximum, you are claiming that your age is 25, 26 years old. So, but the point is, it's not knowing important. You need to motivate, you need to encourage, you need to engage the learner. Joydeep, someone's microphone is on. Please mute. Joydeep, please mute someone's microphone. Thank you. So what I'm trying to could you please mute yourself? Could you please mute yourself, Suchendra Datta? Suchendra Datta, could you please mute yourself? Suchendra Datta, please mute yourself. Thank you. I request all the participants, please, this is a serious points which I've been making. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Okay. So this Alvin Toffler's quote is again a mantra for us. And if you don't take it in that way, because maybe many things may be knowing it, but there may be a 1% of the thing which may be a life changer for all of us. Why all these things are required? Because being a teacher is not so easy. And being a perfect teacher is not so easy. Because you want to perfect yourself. And that too, especially in technology mediated teaching learning process. Of course, we may call it as an online teaching, or we may be calling it as a blended mode of a teaching. So if you look at this picture, so there are many requirements are there, especially in online teaching also. You know, all these things would be, so unless and until you practice yourself, you cannot be preaching it, all these things. Okay. So very important point. One of my friend often used to say that e-learning is a religion which need to be practiced first before preaching. Okay. Then only you'll come to know that what about the things has to be there. Okay. Let's try to work out. Let's try to understand the scenario during this COVID-19 and our higher education. And why do we require the training, and why do we require the competency building? We all know very well the other things. So both the students and the faculty groups are grappling with the new norm of COVID enforced technology mediated teaching learning. It's an enforced thing, most of us. And there are certain areas where it requires training. So what are those areas where it requires the training? First one, synchronous and asynchronous learning platforms. Yes, of course, the synchronous platform is very important.
Participants, please mute your microphones. It is constantly disturbing us. Please self-mute your microphone. Dear
Okay. So the first one is the synchronous learning platforms like, the Zoom, and how to manage it, how to manage the webcam, how to manage the microphone and all these things. A second one is the asynchronous platform, the offline platforms like learning management system, whether it could be a Moodle, whether it could be a Google Classroom, whether it could be a Canvas, and many customized learning management systems are available there, and all these things. Second one is pedagogy for online teaching. What is the pedagogy, methodology of teaching need to be adopted? I will give you some solutions for this, which I have been experiencing quite some time. And the third one is instructional design for online teaching. What is the instructional design which is going to be used for this online teaching? The fourth one is about the resources, because you required a very good number of resources. They could be used for the core, or they could be used for the supplementary. Where are the resources available? What form they are available? Which form is fitting over there? So do we need to create it? what are the softwares and apps are required to access all these things. That's very. And fifth one is online course ecosystem. Very importantly, one has to understand what is this the online course ecosystem is all about, and how this ecosystem is going to be used. And the last but not the least, student learning outcomes and offline interaction with the student. How do we, complete the assessments and evaluation, and of course the interaction with the students and all. This is one set of areas where there is a lack of training, and of course we need to train. There is a second issues also pertains to the faculty members. Many teachers have no prior online teaching experience and hence do not wish to swim against the tide without adequate preparation. This is an absolutely issue. And but the question comes, how many days training is required? And but whatever training it is being given over there, but when we are training the people, it is again, please try to understand, it is again a captive environment. And when it comes to the practical real-time scenario, then only we can see that only one part will be done, and rest of the things may not be happening the way it is being given over there. So second problem, second, very few set of people are there, a lack of enthusiasm to learn the new methods and techniques. This is again another problem. And people wants to, why should I, and what is there, and I'm comfortable with online, offline, and many a times people are forgetting about this is a special situation, a small virus which has been generated somewhere in the world, and it is made a havoc of all the, and even our academics are also not an exceptional. So, and third thing, important thing is not convinced about the quality of delivery and assessment. Why they are not convinced? See, the problem is how much you just imagine this scenario. What is your first day of teaching? And probably for me, a person like me, this is almost 30 plus years I'm teaching. So when I started my teaching career, there is no power and there is no PowerPoint. But we used to shout, and we used to our voice reached the last person as such. So what is important for us is change is inevitable. Change is inevitable, and what is important for us is accept the change, especially when the national definitely requires the support of, we are not a frontline warriors, we are not medical staff, we are the teachers. So whatever best it is possible, and we can do it. First of all, we learn ourselves, and at the same time we try to motivate, engage our fellow teachers. And again, I'm telling you, the moment you start doing all these things, there will be no acceptance. And again, you always, we used to remember about the great man of this great nation, APJ Abdul Kalam, the former president of this country. He often used to say 3 golden words as far as the teaching learning is concerned. First of all is fail, FAIL. He said it is a first attempt in learning. So when you are learning something, always thinks that you will get to fail. Okay. Second important thing, END. END is not a real end. END means effort never dies. Okay. So whatever effort you put, whatever effort you learn, it never goes on waste. The third and most important thing is no. When you want to transfer, when you want to educate, when you want to sensitize and orient even our friends, our students, our spouse, first and foremost thing, the thing that happen, no, that by default it comes. Generally, we used to take offended about somebody said no to us. You know what is that no? No is next opportunity. So this is what I'm not saying. This is Professor Kalam, the late president of this country, has said. So when we should have that kind of an attitude when we are moving forward, even for our own learning or facilitating the learning. That is more important, because whether it's a technology mediated teaching learning or a conventional learning, the very important thing is attitude matters a lot. And second one is aptitude. Why? Because we all join the teaching profession by choice. The students spend more than 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours with us. So your commitment, your attitude, your hardworking nature, and all these things will be reflecting when you are speaking with your own students and fellow learners. Okay, and you should be a role model, and you should be a task bearer. That is very important as far as especially in this, when everything goes well, there is no need of the thing. But when things are not going well, that's where somebody has to stand and do the needful. Okay. So the need of the hour is, let's make use of this period as an opportunity and relevant to the present situation. And again and again, I'm telling you, often people say, no, we don't have hardware, we don't have software, we don't have training, we don't have this, we don't have that. But again, I'm saying that even I too don't have all these things, friends. Please try to understand. But again, there is a commitment. There is a commitment saying that yes, when nation needs you as a teacher, why don't you do it all these things? Whatever little you learn, why don't you spend some time and educate our own people and try to motivate them, saying that okay, whatever it is available, and do it. This requires in the adapting the change. It's a time to adapt the change. This is very, very, very important. Okay, and adapting the change is inevitable, and adapting the change is very important for us to do it. Even though this is a technology mediated teaching learning process, but again, always keep in mind a few important factors here. The technology is an enabler. Before that, I'll wish to say that technology is an enabler, technology is a facilitator, but I can tell you one small thing. The human being here, the teacher, is far, far superior than the technology. Okay, and because even though I am a professor of computer science, I always believe that the teacher, because of course these gadgets are there. Like for example, you can see I'm sitting in front of in my room where in front of my laptop and with a good internet connectivity and everything is there. So who is speaking? I myself speaking. And of course, there is some PowerPoint is running, but I'm not reading out the lines of the PowerPoint. I will facilitate the discussion on that one and whatever topic which is given to me, which I've been doing it. So it is, again, I'm saying the human being is far, far superior than the technology. But again, the teacher is here, the teacher is indispensable, teacher is indispensable. And technology and all these things will be adding to the teaching learning process, but they cannot replace the teacher. Please try to understand. So very important statement in this 5 points is the effectiveness of the technology. Again, I mean to say that technology is not a tool, it includes the techniques also, is directly proportional to the competence, intent, and the attitude of the user. So we need to build the competencies of the teacher. We need to build the positive intent and the positive attitude of the teacher. Because once the things are there, then we can innovate. See, I think recently in last year during the Siksha Parv, the Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable HRM, and I've been saying consistently about that during this new educational policy. We need to innovate. It's not somebody can issue a circular saying that you implement all these things. And at the same time, I just want to remind you one small important thing. The problems, issues, and challenges are there in the past and will be there in the future. Even Vartaman, even in the present situation, also we have all these things. But at the same time, the central government in association with the state governments and higher education institutions are doing their best to get the equipment, to get the paraphernalia, you get all the necessary things to make it possible. And my experience says in many places it's a continuous process. We never imagined that that small virus can do all these things. So the technology and technological related factors, even though the technology can be procured, but the point is the training and the motivating and the factors will have to come from the faculty members who have been working over there. So the next important thing, first of all, let me start with a positive note. How to make the online teaching learning successful? Okay. This is again very whatever slides which I've been showing on your screen. All these questions have been asked by my colleagues for the last so many years. So first of all, what I mean to say that the first educators must first design the curriculum, goals and objectives, and consider how this online environment can best serve the instructional objectives and activities of that curriculum. That is very important to me. So this requires changes in the pedagogy, with instructors taking the role of facilitators of information while guiding the students towards these solutions. Okay, in order for online learning to be successful, teachers as well as the learners must take on new roles in the teaching learning relationship, and faculty must be willing to release the control of learning to the students, because no more the push mode of a learning will be required, because we had to go for a a pull mode of a learning or a learner centric environment, so that of course the teacher, in that case also teacher will be there, but his or her role will be confined to so three important things. First of all, designing the curriculum, putting the goals and objectives is the first part, then looking for the online environment which is meeting the requirements is the second part, and of course the pedagogy, the instructional design, and defining the role of the students and the teachers is, because many a times we often says that it is only the teacher's responsibility, but I'm saying that no, it is the student responsibility, and if you involve and into the student, definitely. And many a times teachers have been complaining to me saying that I don't know whom I am speaking, they are speaking to the walls. I said simply switching on the videos is not the one they are attentive. What is important is how you are engaging your learners. That is very important. Just don't think that within the 60 minutes of your time, you could able to pass on the message loud and clear. No, it never happened. Because even our conventional classroom also, and many students coming to our staff room after the class is over and they have a lot of doubts, and we have a tutorial session, there are notes sharing, and many things happen. So in online mode, simply giving a lecture may not be solving it. So you can create a offline learning platform where you can engage them and allow them to come to the class. So once the class is over, again you put the details over there, and that can be done. And at the same time, leave the leverage to the students and let them think it. Okay, many of the times I do with my own students also. Wherever there is a chance comes, I often provide the reading material to my students, and I leave a small tag. If you find a better reading material and under this objectives and expected outcomes of this paper, you are free to choose it. And every week and every 10 days, my students are coming up with a new material, saying that, sir, this particular article may be very good, and this may be better than the one you are facing. Friends, whenever I heard about this, I will be in cloud 9, because they are also owning this course. They are also owning that this paper, it is our paper. This is our college. This is our subject. If only teachers are saying that, I only teaching, I only facilitating, and the ownership may not be there with the students. And so this is a very important point which should. So this brings to me the redefining role, which I have been mentioning earlier. You can see it on the left picture, which is the centralized learning. Only teachers are pushing. Teacher will be central, and this is the way. And unfortunately, what happened in online mode also, when conventional mode, of course, this procedure is being there. When it comes to the online mode, also the same things are being happening, which is not correct in my opinion. Because simply giving a lecture of 60 minutes and first 10 minutes, and there is a networking issues, there are these issues, controlling the faculty, controlling the students to switch off the webcams and microphones and all these things, and it gone, only you'll get effectively 40 minutes of the time. Within 40 minutes, many things may not be happening which was expected to be done. Okay, so that's the reason I believe in that. Only lecturing part is not enough here. So if you look at the learner-centric environment, of course, the classroom is very much over there. But apart from the classroom, there are many other aspects that teacher can create this kind of a learning environment, starting from the self-paced courses, knowledge databases, peer-to-peer learning, online mentoring. You name it. There are excellent things are available there, and many things are technology mediated, so technology supported, so that what happened with this kind of an option, students will be having a 360-degree development. That is the very important point one should keep in mind. So that what happened, what are the so apart from the classroom, apart from the curriculum, because what is the focus, even you must have understood the new educational policy, it is more on application level of understanding. So if you are going for an application level of understanding, the student should be having beyond the classroom teaching and many other things. So I think this technology and technology related things will be definitely but it brings to me someone's microphone is on. Suchendra Datta. Suchindra Datta.
Sir, I am taking care of that.
Please do that, Joydeep. Please. Okay, so which brings to me one of the famous quote of Albert Einstein, which he says, I quote, "I do not teach anyone. I only provide the environment in which they can learn." Joydeep, this is she co-host? Suchindra Datta is a co-host.
I have removed her, sir.
Please do that, Joydeep. Please. Okay. So the point in this case is, this is what is almost mantra for us, what Albert Einstein has said. So we need to create the environment in such a way that learning happens. And of course, initially some part would be guided learning, and of course students has to learn. So if you are expecting that 360-degree development of the students, I think this is the one which has to be there and which should work in the direction. Okay, so let's try to understand the what are the core components of this online teaching. Okay, and the first and foremost thing is about the hardware. So hardware means, again, the physical parts of the computer, where you can see the laptops and desktop, and of course smartphone, webcam, microphone, earphone. Okay. And laptop, desktop, and what is, and of course the writing devices. These are, but if you want to be a producer and of the content, so what is important for me is you had to have a minimum laptop and desktop, because it's not a simple lecture kind of a thing which you are doing. The second important thing, before that, let me say, it is like a triangle. It is like a three sides of the triangle, where one side is hardware, second side is software, and third side is the humanware component. Okay. So for hardware part, I have discussed, and all three things has to play their major role, and then only you can have the desired output and desired result out of it. And when you look at the software part, the software basically meant for, and of course this could be the case with the, not only with the online, this could be the case with the blended learning also. UGC is also seriously looking for a solution which is 50% of the syllabus should be done in the online mode and 50% would be done the offline mode. So for which they are also, I am also team of part of their team which will be working on that. So all these things could be definitely helpful and useful for you. So when it comes to the software part, there are two important components. One is a synchronous learning platform, and the second one is an asynchronous learning platform. In the synchronous learning platforms, the examples I have already mentioned: Skype, Zoom, Google Meet, WebEx, GoToMeeting, Microsoft Teams, and there are many, which facilitates the live interaction. So what is expected here? Here the students can interact, discuss, share, and develop the perspectives to all the content that they have studied and absorbed during the asynchronous mode. This is what I've been saying. So the synchronous is connected with the asynchronous one, and asynchronous is connected with the synchronous one. So that's the reason I've been saying that it's not only a one type of class and one type of an interaction. Okay, let's look at this asynchronous mode, what it is there. The asynchronous, of course, one of the best example is the learning management system. We call it as the LMS. But again, the examples could be Moodle is an example, Google Classroom is an example, Canvas, Edmodo, and of course there are many. Even our Swayam platform is a big example for that one. What happens in the asynchronous learning model? And the asynchronous learning includes the activities which the students can pursue beyond their class hours. This is very important. So it's not the one only we have been teaching, giving a lecture, and after the lecture we are providing the either video or the PPT. Because then we need to facilitate the learning beyond our interaction. So what happened here? This helps the content knowledge. This helps to build the content knowledge and allow the students to apply learning in creative ways. This is very important for me also, that students need to apply that. So the pre-recorded lectures, the e-content are particularly well suited for the asynchronous learning, as students can watch the pre-recorded sessions and read the content in their own free time, thus ensuring the maximum and effective utilization of the time marked for live classes in face-to-face interaction and discussion. So what happened if the students come prepared, so that whatever the limited time we have in the teacher, of course teachers definitely clarify, but like I've been what is the experiment I do with my students, that for example, if I want to introduce a topic, I always used to provide the reading material pertains to that, so that what happens, students will go through those material and read and come prepared for the class. So naturally what happened, we can utilize that classroom time, even in our conventional classroom also, friends. This logic applies for the conventional classroom also. So you can create that environment for which teachers and students has to work together, and at the same time the teachers can leverage this option for the students to do the needful as such. And as far as the humanware component is concerned, and the things like good subject expertise, whatever the domain expertise you should be the best, absolutely no doubt about it. And I should have a clarity about the course planning and organization, and verbal and non-verbal presentation skills, collaborative teamwork, questioning strategies, involving students and coordinating their activity. This is the key as far as the teachers are concerned. So hardware, software, and the humanware, these are, and apart from these things, there are few more things where the teacher need to understand. First one is about the pedagogy. So what pedagogy could be more useful? Because since I have mentioning about synchronous is connected to asynchronous, so one of the pedagogical method, which is an activity based, which is even research is also talking about very nicely about this, is the flipped classroom method, where students can able to access the so if you look at the process of flipped classroom, and what happens here, it's basically a flip. I request you to kindly read for a minute, please. So flipping the classroom is a pedagogy first approach to teaching, in which the course materials are introduced outside of the class. Please try to understand. So again, I am talking about synchronous and asynchronous. Outside of the class, it is again offline, and in class time is repurposed for inquiry, application, and assessment in order to better meet the needs of the individual learners. Okay, I think that's how the process is need to be done. There are certain steps are also there, and I don't know whether I'll get time to explain that steps. And there are nice steps are there. Let me just take a minute to just run through the steps. What is the flipped classroom steps, which are very important and which is going to be used. If you Joydeep, my screen is visible now. My voice is audible. Joydeep, just please confirm. Anyone, any participant, please confirm my voice. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. So it has got 6 important steps. So what are these steps to set up the flipped classroom? Generally, I think, I used to conduct workshops, and with the practical demonstration, all these things I used to give. As per the lesson plan, first and foremost thing, teacher must have a clarity about the lesson plan, objectives and outcome of the topic, and search the appropriate content. It could be video form, text form, audio form, and images form. And basically the sources are from the Government of India, ICT initiatives, and the Creative Commons sources. Creative Commons is the process through which the authors have given rights to the content. Okay, then they can share it among the students. And what is the plan of action? You can first of all, you can share it with the in the stage 1, you can use the WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, and Google groups. And second stage, in the learning management system. If the appropriate content suitable for the class is not available, understand carefully. If the appropriate content suitable for the class is not available, then create the e-lectures or e-tutorials using the simple software and apps. There are excellent apps and tools are available which you can able to use it. So list of mobile apps, and the third important step is teacher must ensure that students read or view the study material shared outside the class and come prepared for the class. This is a very important. And step 4, teacher must create a comprehensive continuous assessment method, assessing the performance, engagement, involvement of the student outside or inside the class. The step 5 is teacher must ensure the class time is devoted to applied learning activities and more higher order thinking tasks. And at the same time, teacher must create a virtual support system with extended hand-holding thing beyond the time. Okay, these are all the steps. Because of the paucity of the time, I'm just rushing out these things. So the pedagogy with the flipped classroom pedagogy, which is a very important component, which can be tried out, because since there are 2 platforms, one is a synchronous platform, other one is a asynchronous platform, these 2 platforms can go together. And when you use this next important factor which all of us need to understand, and because in there is a big problem which I started noticing in the asynchronous. People are simply uploading some video, some text material, some image material, and there is no connectivity. There is the science behind that. And one of that science which I've been talking about is the instructional design. So instructional design is basically, it's a process of analysis of learning needs and goals and the development of a delivery system to meet those needs. Okay, so again, you can see, I quote, bad things happen in the absence of good design. So what type of instructional design method could be useful? There are so many models are available as far as the ID is concerned. But one of the tested instructional design method, our Swayam MOOCs program is being used, is this 4-quadrant approach. We have a quadrant. We have quadrant 1 as e-tutorial, quadrant 2 is e-content, quadrant 3 is assessment, and quadrant 4 is discussion forum. I think this method could be used effectively without any difficulty as such. Okay, now coming to the third important thing is about the resources, and because this both synchronous and as well as the asynchronous platforms require the resources which are going to be used effectively in this case. So again, where are the resources available? I think this is where our excellent library science faculty members across India who have been doing a commendable job in this area, and they need to do much better into this one. So there is something called ICT initiatives of Government of India. For example, we have Swayam program, we have Swayam Prabha, we have National Digital Library, we have EPG Pathshala, and I think faculty members need to think seriously and how to use the facilities which have been available there for this training program. Content for this. Second concept is about the open educational resources. This is again a fabulous process on which unfortunately I was of the opinion that the enough emphasis people are not given on the open educational resources, because maybe it may be an awareness problem, and or it may be something else. People are not. If you look at the definition of the OER, I'll just take a minute to explain. If you look at the definition of the OER, it says very importantly it's a teaching learning materials offered freely and openly to use and adapt for teaching, learning, development, and research. So much good quality content. What is available over there? If you can read for a minute, just look at what it is showing on your screen. Full courses, course modules, syllabi, lectures, homework assignments, quizzes, lab and classroom activities, pedagogical materials, games, simulations, and many more resources contained in digital media collections around the world. That means there is so much content is available. My question in this case is, my problem in this case is why we have not been using those things. And maybe the awareness part was not there, and maybe people wants a quick fix solution. There are excellent content is available over there, and we could able to use, because for the online mode of teaching, you require two types of resources. You require core resources and you require supplementary reading material. Core reading material and supplementary reading material. Everything need not be created, because since already those things are already there. Next, okay, many times what happened, we may not be having that much quality, process. We don't understand that what need to be done and all. So what you can do in this case is, yes, there are nice tools are available. And of course, you may be knowing it. There are excellent tools and mobile tools and softwares are available. I have mentioned few of them here. Not necessarily these are all the best one, but I have been using for quite some time, and they give me a lot of flexibility to use it. And since even though I've been using a lot of mobile apps, but I'm more comfortable using this one in my laptop or desktop to get the desired outcome. Audacity is the tool, and there are nice screencasting, screen recording tools are available, like Screencastify is the one, FreeCam is the one, Loom is another one. As far as the video recording is concerned, and OBS Studio, Screencast-O-Matic, Presentation Tube, these are all the tools which are very much helpful and useful to me. As far as the mobile screen recording and editing app is concerned, the Screencast-O-Matic is the one. If I want to compress my video before uploading, and I can use the handbrake. And as far as the Moodle is concerned, of course, Moodle can be used. Moodle Cloud is the one option, and another best option is again Genomio, genomio.com. where I could able to make use of these things much effectively and easily. So I think you must have seen that there are so many things are available over there, and we could able to make use of this in this way. And then it comes to the roadmap, and the roadmap for the online teaching again brings an excellent point of which is required to be understood very clearly. And the roadmap is basically consisting of everyone must be having this roadmap readily available in front of you, so that all these things part of this competency building. For example, set up the mind. Step one, if you look at, set up the mind towards the technology mediated teaching learning. Yes, of course, if you are not convinced yourself, you cannot convince others. This is a very standard statement. I have not made the statement. So what is important here is, if first and foremost thing, we the teachers had to get convince ourselves. Once you got convinced yourself, then you can able to do it other thing. You can see the step 2. You need to take the broad basic decisions in terms of mode of sessions, in terms of pedagogy and instructional design, in terms of assessments. Very important. Are we going to do the teacher reviewed assessments? Are we going to do the peer reviewed assessments? Are we going to use the auto graded assessments? What level of papers used to give? Knowledge, application, critical thinking, analytical thinking. So who said online all these things are not possible? And one of the statement which somehow I don't agree myself is, people started with the negative note saying that students will copy, students will do all. See, it is new to us, it is new to the students. Always there is an apprehension, there are doubts, there are challenges, both technologically, mentally, software-wise, human-ware-wise. There are so many challenges are there. First and foremost thing, let's try to see that what could be the best way. Think positive. Then of course you will get that same mode only. So then second important thing is define the role of students and the teachers. What role, what are the expectations has to be clearly spelled out. And interaction levels and the feedback mechanism. What level of, how you are interacting in the synchronous mode, how you are interacting in the asynchronous mode, what is what type of levels we are expecting. And unless and until you spelled out all these things, don't expect that students are not listening. Don't make a comment saying that we are speaking to the walls. Somehow it's paining to me that faculty members are saying we are speaking to the walls. I never said this one because I know the kind of involvement my students are doing. I know what is the role I am playing offline and what is the role I am playing online as well as the face-to-face. The step 3 is identifying the appropriate synchronous and asynchronous platform. I think synchronous is missing. Synchronous and as well as asynchronous learning platform. You take any synchronous platform you take and try to understand the system first. What are the plus features of that one? What are the minus features of that, and how can we do that? Similarly with the asynchronous platform also. Step 4 is again the lesson plan. Every teacher must be having a clarity about the lesson plan, because these courses are week-wise courses, or we may do it topic-wise also. And step 5, and there is in this learning management system, there is an excellent platform called Discussion Forum, which is a collaborative learning platform. And don't expect miracles. I somehow never expect any miracle. Miracles means you're hardworking only. And okay, so before you allow the students to expect students to participate, you can use the tools like Padlet. You can create that collaborative learning among your students. You can create that Google Drive sharing. You can use it. You can use the Jamboard, the collaborative learning platform, which is integrated with your Gmail account. Can able to use it. Like this, these are all the factors can be used, and similarly you have addressing the decide on the collaboration, addressing the issues and challenges, and there are a lot many issues and there are a lot many challenges would be there, and of course we had to have these kind of things while working on into the system as such. Okay, and yeah. These are all we call it as the roadmap for online teaching and all. Let me just move on quickly because of the paucity of the time. The next important thing is about the ecosystem. Every faculty must be having a thorough understanding of the ecosystem consisting of designing course, developing, delivery, transaction. Because my objective is not only the online teaching. Tomorrow, I wish and pray for the Almighty that all of you could, with this background and hands-on exposure, can submit a good quality courses, propose a good quality courses in this Swayam. Okay, from your college. So that could be the that could be the outcome of this kind of a workshops as such. And apart from that, there are two quick things I just want to reiterate. And every faculty must be having a thorough understanding about effective utilization of the cloud storage options, a Google Drive, Dropbox, or OneDrive kind of a thing, and not only confined to our role as a consumers of data from the YouTube, Vimeo kind of a thing. You can also contribute back to the system. And while submitting your nice videos into the YouTube, always try to keep in mind the privacy part, the keywords part, the licensing part, the category, the embedding part of the video, and of course the comments of that one. And to sum up my presentation, there are certain quick points which I just want to reiterate once again. Of course, these points are meant for even this could be done for the implementation of the new educational policy. One of the important thing, even though it is talking about the prepare an institutional policy for technology for teaching and learning. Please prepare an individual policy for technology for teaching and learning. Okay, institutions they can do on their own, but unless and until individuals can plan it something, it may not be any fruitful exercise. Second thing, develop individual website as a learning resource. Either you can use the Google sites, or as I shown, you can use the Moodle learning management system. Have an online accessible data bank of students and the teachers. Yes, of course, you can have a individual learning management system. Of course, it is reading as institutional here, but I'll be talking to the individual. A learning management system, whichever you are comfortable. If you are comfortable with Google Classroom, you can do it. If you're comfortable with Moodle, Canvas, Edmodo, anything. And develop a repository of learning resources. This is first 5. The next 6th one. Prepare an online teaching learning manual. So whatever understanding you have, whatever the best practices you do it, you prepare a small manual. And very importantly, make online teaching learning an integral part of this curriculum. Okay, this is very, very important part of it. So at least you start from yourself. Having simply attending the workshop is not yielding any result. Just try to make a practice and you see that what best can be done. While practicing only, you come to know that what are the issues. We people are very much over there, and you can, for example, if you can send a message to me, I'll generally reply very quickly. Develop modalities for e-assessment and start using it. So many assessment methods are there. So many innovative, creative, teacher reviewed, peer reviewed, auto-graded methods are there. Why don't you start doing it? And very important, last 2 things are very important. Promote an online teaching learning community to support and counsel each other. Yeah, of course, we require support with each other. We want to, that's where the WhatsApp groups are very important. Unfortunately, we are using only good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good nights. We never make it much serious. So those things can be so that we can counsel each other. We have to support each other. Not necessarily everybody can be an expert in a single day. Okay, and there's a lot of things and publish the best practices of technology-enabled teaching learning process on a regular basis. This is what, friends, in the nutshell, I want to say. And but what is important for me is it is the process which has to be worked on. Let me stop sharing my screen, and now let me come back. Yes, Joydeep, I think I finished. I stick to my time. I hope I'm not. Not
Yes, sir.
yeah. So, oh God. So, it is evaporating to me.
The noise is coming, sir.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, there's some. Okay, maybe that will be the problem. Yeah.
Sir, can we open the session for discussion?
Yeah. Of course. That's what I've been asking. If you, I was about to say that. So if you have any questions, comments, and any further clarifications required, please put your questions over here. If
You
you,
may use the chat box also.
yeah, of course, they can put it in the chat box.
Thank you, sir, for this enlightening speech and making us feel the enhanced role of researchers and teachers in this online learning environment ecosystem. Thank you, sir, for enriching us. As a part of the organizing team, I would like to request participants to share with us if you have any questions, any observations, or anything. The session was highly useful. I hope we will be able to utilize this in our day-to-day teaching experience. Dear participants, many feedbacks are pouring in.
Just sir told that this type of
I think so. It was a very fulfilling and everyone is so much enlightened.
Hello.
Many positive feedback are coming in here.
Yes, Rupam.
Yes.
Rupam, yeah.
I am Rupam Mukherjee, from Assistant Professor in Economics, Kobi Shukhantu Mahavidyalaya, University of Burdwan.
Okay.
Sir, it's a nice presentation. I just want to thank you for this excellent presentation. And what I found the most important one was your last two slides. That is the 10 principles that you have mentioned that we should follow to develop ourselves. Because I think that the main problem regarding in online teaching and learning is not coming only from the student side, but also very much from the teacher side. And if we cannot build our capacity to do or take classes like that, it will be difficult for this new normal mode of education that is going to happen after this pandemic. So, sir, thank you for your excellent suggestions, your excellent presentations. I enjoyed your lectures.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rupam. Thank you. So I think if there are no comments or suggestions and this thing, I think can I leave, Joydeep? And what about Dr. Moli? Can I leave now? Because
okay. Joydeep, can you hear me?
No, I can. Yeah. Joydeep.
Yeah, sir, I just want to convey my heartiest thanks that within a few days you can arrange such a good presentation for us, and we have just met virtually earlier and not physically. We hope that I can meet you personally, either in Delhi or at your place. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All the very best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, then. Bye-bye.
So with this enlightening speech, we come to end the technical session 1, and soon we will start the technical session 2 with another stalwart of the field, Professor Saptarshi Ghosh. And before Saptarshi Ghosh, Professor Ghosh starts delivering his talk, I would like to give a very brief introduction of Dr. Ghosh. Dr. Ghosh has earned his post-graduation degree as well as his doctoral degree from Jadavpur University. He joined the North Bengal University as a faculty member in 2001, and he has been actively involved in research and has published in different journals of international as well as national repute. He has also held a number of administrative positions in his professional domain. He has more than 19 years of experience since 2001 as faculty in the Department of Library and Information Science of North Bengal University. His area of specialization is computer application in library and information science. He has also interest in multimedia development, web application, sociology of information science, object Pascal. He is also a researcher in sociology of information science and its diffusion in the current day knowledge economy. Today, he will deliver a talk on e-learning and information society. Where do the information managers stand? Professor Ghosh, sir, can you please join us?
Obviously. So thank you very much, so Dr. Ghosh. So
Thank you, sir.
okay. And at the same time, first of all, I tender my sincere thanks to the organizers of this seminar, and first the honorable principal of this college, then the IQAC, the IQAC cell, as well as the organizer and the anchor herself, and obviously the Jaideep, who was actually instrumental for delving me, or rather dragging me into this type of business, rather, which is rather going to be a kind of diminishing perspective right now, as because we were seeing that one after several calls, people are rather actually feeling that one to get themselves muted, or rather, so this has become a phenomenal thing, because right now so many webinars are rather being held, and you see people are rather very much I do. Yes. So first of all, I tender my sincere thanks to all of you, and specifically the college management, the principal, and the IQAC cell, as well as Jaideep and others, for inviting me for this particular lecture. So whenever a profession is at the crossroad, and whenever the professionals are rather the participants, and almost all the times when the professionals are being warned to mute themselves, so it simply says that one, rather the signal is rather coming like that, that is this type of, you see, the synchronous learning is not very much giving them the real impetus for what they are rather trying to get, and what I'm rather seeing this one. So however, so what actually being a professional and myself in this particular discipline for over years, what I have seen, most of the cases, the librarians, they have already been dragged into the different aspects of, you can see, the ideas developed in the society, and most of the times they are rather having this one, they have to do a lot of things with which they just couldn't connect themselves directly. That is what is the purpose of this one, and why we have to do this one. And specifically, whenever this very concept of online learning, or rather this type of, you can say, distance learning, as well as this type of, you can say, the e-learning perspective came. E-learning was not a new for the librarians, but whenever this particular time, this COVID specifically, this one made people like that. That is almost all the times we are actually thinking of the remote teaching. At the same time, we are rather been able, or we are rather actually associated ourselves with that one. That is where the teacher and at the same time the students have no face-to-face relationships or no face-to-face communication. A teacher can't even see the gestures, facial expressions, the agreements, the discords, as well as they can't even read the very student in front of them, who are rather getting themselves clearly, or getting themselves clearly or not. At this juncture, So now what's the condition of the library? You see that when the libraries, most of the time, the libraries took different paths. They actually tried a lot during these hard times, and they accumulated resources from different places. They collected that one, they made that one, they kept that one in some kind of storage. They tried to facilitate that one to every stakeholders of the colleges or rather universities or any kind of institutions. But what happened many times, if you take the stock of usage of this one, you will see that one very few cases that your real effort was rather taken very seriously, because you see a sudden shift has been actually, we observed a sudden shift, and most of the cases the people were not at all very much ready to accept that one, and many times people were rather, and at the same time you will see that one right now we are actually doing this one with the help of Cisco AVX, and many of the institutions, they actually to Google Meet as a platform. So each and every software is having its actually inherent techniques, technologies for presenting, for deliberations, and the different types of, you can say, that is the configurations. So keeping oneself abreast with all the technologies. So this was one aspect, and at the same time, giving the recipients or the users the knowledge of this one, that is how to do those things, that is also another aspect we actually faced right now. So today I'm rather, without extending this preliminary lecture too much, so let me share my presentation where actually I tried to catch this very problem, or I try to actually go for this one. I try to make one ambience by which the very aspect of that one, that is whether the profession itself, that is library and information system, how this particular profession is rather associated with e-learning, or the agents of this profession, or rather the agents, those who are the social agents, if we consider library as a social institution, and being one social agent, how we can go for this one, or how we can proliferate our knowledge, or how we can go for that one, that is the proliferate our knowledge, and how we can deliver something more by which we can help our clientels, or we can potential clients with the help of these e-technologies or e-learning technologies, and where right now we are standing and what more we can do. And that is actually the perspective of our presentation. So I am presenting this thing. So now I think, is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now let's start this one. That is what, that is e-learning and information society, where the information managers stand. So starting with this one, that is So this one, that is the Gustav Flaubert, with the deliberation of this one, we start that one, that is, right now what we all lack is not the style, or not do we lack the suppleness of bow and fingers that passes for talent. We have a well-staffed orchestra, a rich palette, varied resources. No, what we lack is the guiding principle, the soul of things, the very idea of the subject. We are starting with that one. Everything is there. You know that one, the software is ready, the mode is ready, the bandwidth is ready. We have the well-staffed orchestra, that is the teachers are ready, the students are also ready, but what we do lack, that is the guiding principle. That is what actually we are starting with, that very aspect where Professor Srinivas left. That is the last two slides. That is what actually Rupam also told that one. That is the guiding principles. So in our cases also, that is what to do and how to do the best, or rather you can say how to go to for the just, which can enrich our students, the recipients, or rather the users. That is, we have all these things, and these are the pools of knowledge, whether it is online or offline, just use it, access it, and we need a clear policy for that one. And that is what we are rather having. We do have rather that one. The missing perspective is that. And next thing is, just a minute. Okay, now we are starting with this one. That is the second thing. That is the E in learning. That is, what's the E? So these all red letters things have already been covered, but just you see that one. So what I actually understand that one, this one is rather having some kind of computer-based and web-based learning. The first thing, that is the application of that one. And you know that this thing, that is, it was actually the coinage of 1990s, mid-1990s. That is, the momentum was like that. That was actually, whenever you are imparting education, you can take the help of computer also, because each and every time human beings were actually asking for some kind of new things, new aspects, new media by which they can share their knowledges and classroom knowledge. It is rather not actually the the replacement of classroom teaching. It is just a kind of extending the classroom teaching, or rather you can say that one, the supplement of classroom teaching. And obviously, so factors are rather, what are the different factors? The factors are obviously, you see that one, that is actually the cost, one thing. Second thing is the access, and third thing is the accountability. What is the cost? Cost is rather, you know that one, this e-learning is very, you can impart e-learning with very reduced cost. And access, you can go for that one. See, right now you were saying that one, almost many of your members are rather joining from the different corners of the country. So not only they are from West Bengal only, they are coming from the very far Kerala to Northeast Assam and like that, which is not at all possible in the cases of our classroom teaching and this one. And for the librarians also, whenever you are actually making a resource pool, a digital resource pool, and obviously if you give that access, not only your people will be benefited, not only your clients will be benefited, actually the beneficiaries will be rather national or as well as the global. And at the same time, some kind of accountability is there. That is, once it is rather going to wave, or rather once it is rather been observed by a lot of people, then obviously whether the learning is rather been proved as a sustained learning, or rather this particular learning is rather a kind of, you can say, partial learning, that can also be understand, or that can also be interpreted or rather inferred with the help of this e-learning. And next one, you see, this e-learning, and we are going for that one, the cognitive development. So in our cases, what actually we are doing, so professional preparedness is the most important. Professional preparedness, that is, what is the professional preparedness? That is what was the content of the first lecture. That was actually the perspective here. That is the professional preparedness and the willingness and competence, the development of that one. That is what you have to be very much prepared for, giving something to your recipient with the help of the existing e-learning environment or e-learning ecosystem. This ecosystem is what? This ecosystem, already we talked about that one. That is the hardware, software, as well as the skills and the dissemination of that one. And obviously, whenever you are talking about the cognitive development, for the librarian's perspective, you see the cognitive development is, although the library people, librarians, we are not directly the persons who are creating the e-learning content, or rather we are not developing the e-learning content, but we may have to do something, or we can develop the content of our own, being one content developer, not only in the field of library and information science, but also for the other perspective with some kind of collaborative approach. So we can go for that one. That is where, but in that case, a kind of cognitive development is important. What kind of cognitive development? That is, we have to understand what is the digital culture. That is what the most important thing. It is social information. The information, whenever we already understood that one, information has wings, information can fly, information can cross the border, and obviously that information is rather right now, people are rather all the times they are actually trying to catch that information which are rather flying, and it is the duty of the information professionals like us, so that to assess that one, that is the demand, to assess the demand, as well as to go for, to identify, to assess the digital culture. That is, what's that? The human interaction, the digital devices, and the programs that we have. So digital devices, you know that one, almost all the digital devices are there, human interaction, and we have to develop a kind of digital culture, and that is where I pointed out that one. We really do not have a proper guideline. What about that? We do not have a proper guideline. So that is what, so the question of cognition and cognitive development. This cognitive development is, the basic perspective of cognitive development is that you have to understand up to what extent e-learning can do, and up to what extent e-learning can reach to your recipient, or rather where you have to start and where you have to stop. That is the most important thing, that is the cognitive development. And third one is that, also the next one, that is, you see, the perspectives of e-learning. Whenever we are talking about this one, we are getting this thing, this is the e-learning. Now we have this cognition, that is, you have to understand what you have to do, cognitive perspectives, what you are rather going to deliver, emotional perspective, the tune of the content, behavioral practice of both, all the stakeholders, and last one, that is a contextual perspective, on what context we are going for this one. So e-learning is rather having the 4 different perspectives. First one is the cognitive perspective, better you understand that one. That is what Professor Srinivas already told that one. That is the, you see, instructional design. Whenever you were saying that one, instructional design, that instructional design is a very part for remote or distance learning programs. Whenever you are rather giving someone some kind of material, because in the offline mode, you are having a syllabus, you are having some type of pedagogy by which you can deliver your material, you can deliver your content. But in case of e-learning, as because distraction is rather more easier, so cognition needs to be developed. That is, up to what extent you can develop that perspective, develop that syllabus, develop that course. And obviously, the emotional perspective is also important. Emotional perspective means how much they are rather been devoted to that particular content. Are these things, because you see, whenever a human being is there, one teacher is there in a class, whenever you are delivering that one, your body language, your gesture, by that way, basically, you are reciprocating your gestural studies as well as your intellectual output with them. But in case of this barrier, whenever something is there, you are rather throwing something over the media, and in between that, no such thing is there. and in between no other thing is there. So obviously this emotional perspective is much more important. And behavioral perspective, right now you see that one, behavioral perspective, we are seeing that one here also. Many of us are rather listening to this one, but at the same time, we have different types of behavioral perspectives. That is, in a classroom, one fellow who is unattentive, the teacher can say that one, you please go outside of the class. But in case of this one, so suppose someone is rather attending this particular lecture, but left that thing and he is not physically present over there, just actually muted his video or rather made the video off and left that one. So obviously this is what the perspective of e-learning. So this thing you have to consider that one. And at the last term, that is actually the fourth thing, that is the contextual perspective. That is what context we are rather going for this one, after what context we are rather going this thing. So that is also important. And if we do not consider this one, so obviously in the contextual perspective, if we do not think up to what context we are delivering this one, this will be much more, this main aspect or rather the main focus of e-learning will get distracted. And there is another holistic integrated view is also there. And you see the users are there and e-resources are there. And these services, what I am trying to point out that one, that is the librarians are rather here. And if the context of e-learning is this, so we have the e-resources here, users here, and the services. So librarians can embrace this one, these services. With the help of e-resources, they can deliver e-learning to the users in the better way. And now we are going for that one, that is our main perspective, that is the concept of information society. You know that one, a lot of things are there, information society, but if you see this very picture, you will see that one, digital perspective or rather computer perspective is too much here. So technology, you see the storage, integral, all these things. So it is rather a kind of mover. Information society where information plays the big role or information is playing the pivotal role for thrusting the society towards the development. That is what the basic purpose of information society, and you see that one, that is the information society where information is considered as a capital. Information is rather considered as a production and information is a capital. And obviously, the importance is given with the new technologies and this is actually coming to the close. And you see, if you go for the Daniel Bell's, the Coming to the Post-Industrial Society, it was published in 1973. He stated that one, this is nothing but the logical extension or expansion of post-industrial society. Now, what we usually do in this particular society, we are having diverse of scientific disciplines, and these disciplines, and obviously many times you'll see that one, the disciplines and the periphery of the disciplines, and most of the cases, the periphery of the disciplines are rather getting blurred, and obviously one discipline is rather being merged or rather overlaps with other discipline, and that's for why the kind of shifting we are seeing that one, not only for the social, political, cultural, and economic industries, actually it is coming for the learning and educations. All these things are rather being shifted from the traditional mode of teaching towards technology-based teaching. So this is the amalgamation of diverse scientific principles that we are actually seeing in the information society. So this particular slide was rather stated very elaborately by my senior professor, Professor Srinivas, so I am not going very deep into it. But there is another perspective, that is known as the cohort learning. This particular learning is rather the same kind of learning like blackboard method, what we usually follow in our colleges and universities. But in this particular perspective, you can say that when this cohort learning, this is rather a kind of social learning or rather a kind of participatory learning where the learning is not only ends with lectures as well as the evaluations. This learning rather measures the outcome also. That is, what up to what extent the learning was imparted, that has been given or rather made a kind of structural shape into the learner's mind or into the learner's. So this is what the cohort learning is. Now, whenever we are talking about the e-learning in the context of labor in information society, in context of labor in information society, that is a qualification of labor. Now, you see, we have the social and technical entities. So what are these? System quality. That is how we are actually giving that one. There is a system, total system quality, like that one, your Cisco AVX, or rather Google Meet, XYZ, by which you are rather giving this one. There is a system quality, the service quality. That is who are delivering this one. Whenever you are taking a particular course from you, that is edX or rather Coursera, so you, or rather Swayam or EPG Pathshala, or rather, so you know that one, you are always thinking that one. So the service quality is rather very fine. So you know that thing, but the content quality is something different. So content quality is something different. And the learner's perspective, you know that one, that is the learner's perspective that you also have to understand. And obviously the instructor's attitude, I think this issue also came in the past lecture, instructor's attitude. And the last, it is the supportive issues. That is what the supportive issues, who will support. And next slide is rather going for this one. So this thing, that is the ADDIE model, this particular model, where these are nothing but the analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. This is the model by which we are rather we can distribute our things. So our cases in library science, what we can do, we can analyze whether the content is rather fine or not. We can deliver that one. We can reshape, design that one aesthetically, or rather we can develop also. I will show you that one, something I developed that one for this one, that is, and implementing of this one. And lastly, the evaluate. Evaluate means that is the ultimate one. Who will evaluate it? That is the person who created the material. He can evaluate that one. So this is actually the self-evaluation. At the same time, it can be evaluated by the recipients who are rather getting this one. And at the same time, you can identify that on whether they are happy or not. This is the second aspect. And this fellow, that is the Chang, so B. Chang and others, they made one such kind of networking structure, so where they made these future classrooms, or rather spaces of learning. Now you can be rather amused to see, amused or rather surprised to see all these things. That is, what is the utility of all these things in case of in the cases of the librarians who are going to implement rather, or who are going to deliver something regarding e-content or like that. So actually these are some of the societal concepts which requires to be known. If you know that one, obviously you can understand that is, it is not only required, or you have to follow only the specific model given by Swayam or other friends. You can also create something of your own based on any special kind of models. So what Chang's actually, they stated that one. So right now we have the 4 spaces of learning. That is the future classroom, and it is the structural knowledge. So one thing, then projects-based learning and community-based learning. This is actually called as the social learning. The library is the place for this one. That is the community-based or social learning. Future classroom, yes, library can create a future classroom also. Structural knowledge, we always do that one. That is, whenever you are making the SDI service, you are giving that one, that is IACR product, you are rather going for that, or structural learning. And project-based learning, that was also whenever you are going for making the bibliographies or like that, you are going for that one. So in case of e-learning also, So in case of this one also, we can go for this thing. Now you see, with the same time, we are actually what he's saying that one, these four spaces of learning, these are dependent on time as well as location. And time is, you know, that one, the synchronous and asynchronous, that one, you can apply that one in both modes, and you can go for using this one in the same location or the distance location. So you can have this one, same location, synchronous mode and the four spaces of learning. You can have asynchronous mode of learning in distance location with these four models. So this is rather, you can say, you can easily use this thing for your e-learning dissemination, or rather e-learning services. Next thing is that now, again, I'm going to delve into the theories, rather a bit of theories, because whenever you are rather going for developing something, you have to know that one, ultimately the very perspective of libraries that we studied, that one in our Bachelor of Library and Information Science course, BLS course, the first lecture was like that. The library is a social institution. And once we stated that one, library is a social institution, so all activities, whatever we do through the libraries, this comes under the purview of the society, and it is not at all devoid of the social theories. So whatever we are doing, that is, we are rather doing something, we are just some actors within the society, or rather we are taking some actions for doing some social good, or rather doing some social justice. And whenever we are talking about social justice or social goods, so we are rather right now, that's why we are focusing on that very perspective. That is, what are these? So can we do this thing together? So now, first of all, so out of several theories, I just have taken four. The first one is the social constructivist philosophy. And what is that? Just to see, people work together to construct artifacts. So that is the kind of social learning. And the proponents of this theory, they stated that one might be, this is a very, actually you can say that one debatable one, but still it is rather stated as natural world has very small or non-existent role in construction of scientific knowledge. So who is having that role? So natural world is not actually doing that one. So the community people, the people, those who are in the service society, they can also play a big role for construction of social good, and that is the perspective of social philosophy. Situated learning theory, and that is what, this is the theory that explains individuals' acquisition of professional skills, that includes research on apprenticeship, leads the members of community practice. Right now you see, here, in this particular place, whenever we are talking about these e-learning courses, so practically we are talking about e-learning, but at the same time, many of us, we already have taken different types of e-learning courses, and we are rather promoting e-learning with the help of this type of webinars also. This is also a kind of e-learning. That is what, so people are rather making the slides, they are using a kind of platform, they are rather delivering that one with the help of the hardware as well as software, rather a kind of technology with all these things. But each and every time they are learning that one, this is known as the situated learning, individuals' acquisition of professional skills. Right now, you see, most of us, we are rather, so actually, whenever we study library and information science, we just touch the computer. But right now, those who are learning the computer or learning library and information science, they are learning that one. That is what is Koha, how to develop Koha, how to enrich Koha with new knowledges, and what is folio, when folio will come. And at the same time, you are talking about Moodle, how to use Moodle, how to use different types of. So each and every time, librarians are actually learning. This is rather the situated learning theory. You know that one, whenever you are in a position and each and every time you have to keep your position intact, and obviously whenever you are seeing that one, the change is the only constant. Whenever you are seeing this thing, or rather you know that one, the change management or management of change, you know very well what this situated learning theory is. That is where you are situated, in that perspective, in that particular place, from that particular place, you have to learn every time all the changes. Because here I can say you one but very remark by one of the greatest, you can say, the sociologist come philosopher of that is Michel Foucault. The Foucault's theory was like that. He stated that one, he is never seeing any development in the society. He is only saying the changes. Now, changes means this debate, this debatable remark, or rather this kind of paradoxical remark is rather whenever the changes are there, what previously you were and right now what you are each and every time whenever you are developing yourself. And right now you are talking about e-learning, you are talking about what's your position in e-learning. So you are also trying to get some professional skills. And thirdly, we are going for that one. There's a voice key is activity theory of social cognition. And this is who is doing what, why, and how, which is very important. That is, who is doing what. And you know that one right now, we are actually, when Professor Srinivas was actually talking, he correctly mentioned that one, this OER was not emphasized in that way, or people are rather might be not aware about that particular aspect, or rather that particular resources. But this all important thing is that in activity theory, this is we have to know that one, who is doing what and why and how we got that one. What is also it is possible, that is whenever you are declared that one, and why, that is the most important thing in activity theory. That is, why should we go for that particular purpose, or why should we deliver e-content to our clients? Why we cannot only use our classroom teaching? What is the utility of e-learning right now? And what is the context of e-learning for the information managers or library managers? This why is the most important thing. So this is what the social recognition. Now, why we are doing this one? There is the social demand. Now, what kind of social demand? Right now, people are asking for that one. That is not only the classroom teaching, they are rather asking for some kind of supplementary teaching also, or supplementary concepts also. Can we foster e-learning with our activities? Yes, we can foster e-learning with our own activities. How? I'm coming. So that is what, and lastly, the related experimental learning theory, that is by Cobb. And in experimental relating learning theory, so he stated the 4 stages. There's a concrete learning, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. Now, 4th thing, concrete learning, there's sound knowledge, concrete learning. Reflective observation, that is, you have to think of that one. That is, if his learning is rather been disseminated, or this learning is rather been catered to render to someone, that is, what kind of reflection can there be? Then we are going for some kind of abstract conceptualization. That is, where conceptualization is who will be benefited, how they will be benefited, and the lastly, that is active experiment. Now we are going for that one. That is, and this call is saying that one, that is, effective learning is seen as the learner goes through the cycle, and they can enter into the cycle at any time. So these are the 4 principles and theories. Now we are going for the learning complexes. That is what? Depending on the tasks. So previously I told you that on reflecting, conversing, doing, the learning spaces are like this. What are these? There is the group teaching learning, simulated environment, immersive environment, peer-to-peer and social learning, learning cluster, individual learning spaces, and external spaces. Now, whenever in libraries we are talking about that one, we know that one, that is in library, we always go for that one. See, group teaching is there whenever we go for the user orientation and user education program. That is rather the group teaching. Simulated environment, many of the libraries, they are actually showing that one, what are the different sections are there, how they are actually, if you, that is a kind of 360-degree tour, virtual tour, or the kind of panorama making. So this is what the simulative environment. Immersive environment, that is where the learning is rather considered as the core peer-to-peer and social learning, you know that one, that is what, where the people, right now, I know that one, I do not know whether people, you are knowing this one or not. Right now, almost all the premier institutions, they are rather delivering their course through online mode, or rather e-learning mode, or rather the synchronous mode. Most of the times what they are actually doing, they are just giving the lectures, and at the same time they are giving the notes also for the asynchronous reading. And at the same time, they are also doing something like, you see, the assessments, then they are taking the examinations. And what I have learned that one, previously I didn't have that idea. That is, right now, one mobile app is there, is known as Discord. And I have seen that one, that is whatever is rather been asked, the peer-to-peer, the peers, the students, they, all of them are having the mobile phone, and they installed this one, this Discord, and they are communicating with each other, and they are just posing that, or they are just placing the problem to the peers, and obviously other fellows, they are rather digging out those one, and they are sharing that one through Discord, and they are just writing that one to the screen, or rather to the institutional question answers, or the questions and answers, or institutional exam environment. That is what it is, obviously not encouraging one, so it is a kind of cheating. But you see, what they are actually doing, they are rather going for the peer-to-peer, and at the same time they are going for a kind of social learning and learning cluster and individual learning space, as well as Excel. Now, and this thing I am rather skipping. Now here, what the academic library can do. The academic library for e-teaching and e-learning can be carried out if the library has two types of requirements. One, that is the technical and functional requirements. They can show and integrate variety of electronic resources as a part of learning activity, provide access to tools that render and present content in user customized format, provide access to tools that render and present content in user customized format, integrate plagiarism software into the course management system to encourage good practice. It's a technical thing. And technical and cultural requirement, academic library online resource in course management system. Academic library online resources in course management system. That is what you have to develop some kind of courses, and at the same time by the faculties or with the help of other fellows, and you can keep that one in your resources, in that one online resource pool. You can have a customized portal service for accumulate personal preferences. That is what one fellow is asking for, whether they are interested in some special things or not. Provide easy access to virtual references service and academic library training modules to assist in information seeking. So we can go for these modes in e-learning. Now, Scott and Weber in 2004, so they actually stated that one. So they stated this thing, that is environment support to knowledge sharing, and Weber's prescriptive environment. So they said that one in library setting, we can go for this one. That is environment for delivering knowledge. So we can go for library instructional classrooms, online or offline. Online classroom, Google Classroom, you know that one, that is also a kind of online environment. So you can go for that one, environments for delivering knowledge. That is like the thing you did today, the same way you can show that one, you can collect the resources in a place and you can deliver those resources with the help of instructional classroom. Environments for applying knowledge, library tutoring centers, a new thing you can develop. That is, your people will actually deliver the lectures, you can keep the record of it, and you can deliver that one in asynchronous mode. Environments for creating knowledge, library production areas. It is actually, in case of the college libraries, or rather for the university libraries, it may not be feasible or possible, but I have seen that one, there are lots of distance learning centers where they have their own production units, and they are actually producing different types of library materials, different types of teaching materials by inviting people. They have their own studios and they are creating this thing. So this is what the environments for creating knowledge. And environments for communicating knowledge, library presentation areas. So one place we can make that one or keep that one where the students can, or rather the users can come and can run those lectures, run those offline things. So we can, you can present that thing, and obviously there might be the environments for decision making. What kind of decision making? The decision making that is which particular, whether the library should go for enabling or rather go for delivering, disseminating electronic learning, and what way or rather in which process these decision making can be done in the library. So this conference room is rather a kind of example. So don't actually take that one as rather a very strict sense. Now, role of library managers. So first and important thing is that you have to go for that one, that is extensive literature review on e-learning framework. You have to know that one. Once you are delivering something, you have to know that one, that is the e-learning framework, and it is found that the role of librarian is neglected towards enhancing e-learning. Information professionals such as librarians in universities could play a key role in enhancing e-learning among students. Now I have given here one asterisk, that is this particular statement. You may think that one, this is rather a kind of very general statement. Key role in enhancing e-learning. What is that key role? You better say. Otherwise, why you have written this thing in your presentation? So that's why I have given the question mark here. And this is what the role of information managers. That is librarian as reference, librarian as consultant, librarian as instructor. Librarian as reference, they can come to you, they can ask whether you have the e-learning materials or not. If we have, what are the different types of e-learning materials? I want one e-learning material on these. So obviously from your resource pool, you can give him. Or rather, you can collect that one, and the best learning tool, you can actually give him, or the best presentation, best lecture, you can actually create that thing, or you can locate that one from different places and you can deliver that one to the person. Librarian as a consultant. So here also the same thing. If anyone is asking for a kind of good material, whether electronic or rather documentary, you can go for that one. So that is, you can say that one, whether they should go to national digital library, or rather the Digital Library of India, or rather they will go for the MIT Digital Archive. So this is what you have to go for the consultant. And librarian as an instructor, that is what you can also prepare e-learning tools for how to use catalog cards, how to use classification, or rather how to find the catalog cards, what are the journals, how to find out the good journals, what are the predatory journals, how to find the impact factor. So you can also prepare your own e-learning courses with the help of this one. On there, you will be considered as a librarian, as an instructor. And you know that one. This is the most important. This is a e-learning in libraries is a kind of continuum. So this is the continuum in libraries, and libraries, how they can develop meaningful digital literacy program and becoming involved and embedded in e-learning programs and classrooms. This is important. That is, you can adopt a blending learning approach. You can join with the students, you can learn that one. And after learning that one, you can also develop actively looking support and learning initiatives within our schools. Schools here means there is all types of schools. There is the colleges, a schooling like that in such a way. So libraries and librarians as professionals, library professionals, e-teachers. Now you see, here I am actually giving you this one. The library professors need to engage meaningfully with the students in the adoption and use of e-learning platforms, even if we are not directly involved with the program or course. Now, service partnering to e-learning, helping students to make parallels and connections, appointing student leaders for hosting student training sessions, providing ready reference services about e-learning platforms. Initiatives allows us not only to increase digital literacy in our schools and colleges, but keeps us in touch with the changing educational landscape. Inclusive involvement, reaching out to faculty, those who are developing that one, talk with them, being an informal sounding board or officially sitting on an e-learning committee. Right now, what Joydeep is actually doing, officially sitting on an e-learning committee, and at the same time, practical and important ways that library professionals within educational institutions can get involved and work to be embedded with e-learning initiatives and programs into the schools. So that is what we are not directly, we are not the creators of the e-contents. What we are rather, we are the facilitator of the e-content. But what we can do, we can make students, people aware about that one. We can help them to go for that one. We can give them the ready reference service regarding e-learning platform. Which one is the best? What are the different types of pros and cons of different e-learning platforms, softwares, hardwares, this thing. And we can reach to our faculties, those who are preparing that one. We can sit with them with informally and obviously officially also, and we can develop our ideas. This is known as inclusive involvement from the part of library professional. Now, Chartered Institute of Library and Information Professionals, CILIP, that is in UK, they have given a list of points, or rather some points by which they are saying that one librarians can also associate themselves with the e-learning aspects. This is what the teaching, expansion and development of the role of library user education that I told you, including classroom, point of need, online delivery, searching, refinement, improvement of quality, outreach, increased proportion of work outside the library, often in multi-professional and cross-functional team. Cross-functional and multifunctional teams. So this is important. Right now I'm telling you in this particular seminar, what we are rather doing, you will see that one, 2 lectures are there. One lecture was totally having a target group, or rather exclusively having the target group for online teaching by the teachers. So this is what, this is the, you can say, and second one, this was, or this is what I am rather trying to say, this is only for, or rather focused towards the library professional. So obviously, we are rather working as a cross-functional teams, and you see, the cross-functional teams. So this is what we have to outreach that one. We have to go outside of our periphery and we have to integrate that one. Knowledge involvement, that is involvement in the managing explicit and tacit knowledge, mapping the flow of the knowledge and learning in the organization. Yes, we can make some e-content with that one also. What are the different changes that are going on in the organization? And obviously, whenever you are making this thing, and after a while, whenever the new thing or new situation will come, you can obviously see the previous thing which you already prepared. By seeing that one, you will understand what change you applied at that time, and right now what more changes are required. So this is a kind of sequential practice. That is the most important one. And regarding technology, design and delivery of new electronic services, content design and delivery, content management system, metadata, search functionality. All these things are rather part of technology. That is, they are saying that one librarian must go for this one. They should act as the role of a teacher. They should facilitate searching. They should outreach to their activities. They should inculcate knowledge. They must abreast themselves with the new technologies. And if you see that one, this American Library Association, they have their own specific e-learning portal for all types of libraries. Everything you need to stay current. I'm not going to that particular site. I'm just giving you the hints of that one, and see what they are saying in e-learning. Collection management plays a big role, and you can make the e-learning material on collection management also. That is, what are the different collections you are managing and why you are rather making that collection, what special collection you do have, and for whom those collections are being made, what is the local history collection, or rather the collection of your own area. That is also you can make electronically available e-learning. You can raise different issues and advocacy like that of the plagiarism. You can go for that one. What is plagiarism? You can develop some contents on plagiarism. You can go for that one. That is why the librarians should be shout for the right to information access, right to information, or rather this is what. So you can develop materials for that one also. You can create the future managers as well as the management by, so what are the different types of leaderships? Because in library and information science, management plays a big role. So obviously you can develop some of the materials like how to make general management materials. So if you go to eLearning, you will get that one. Service delivery, that is also another thing. That is what you can deliver the service. That is, what are the different services I already told you. And at the same time, that is what is your perspective. Your perspective is you can create, you can felicitate, you can foster, and you can raise the eagerness of information. That is what the 4 things regarding service delivery. And last one is that as a summing up of this one, the cognitive learning. So the first thing, positivism in respect to e-learning. That is what content, process, storage, format, and access. Positivism in respect of e-learning. Many of the times we say that one e-learning is rather classroom learning is more better than that of e-learning. Practically speaking, e-learning and classroom learning is having no such kind of fight or rather enmity in between them. E-learning is something different and classroom learning is something different. E-learning is rather, till now, e-learning is considered as a supplementary learning. It is no way the replacement of classroom learning. But positivism is important because content is very important in e-learning. That is, what are the things you are going to deliver, and process is the most problematic one. That is 4-quadrant model, or rather the 4 stages. These are the process, how you will go for that one. And for that one, you have to know some kind of science of making e-learning materials. This science I already told you, and Professor Srinivas also told that one. That is storage. That is where you will keep this one, in what format you will keep this one. E-learning format, right now you see different types of formats are there. PDFs are there, videos are there. This PowerPoint, we are rather going for that one. And right now we have lot of HTML5 components. You can deliver that one also in the form of SCROM format or rather HTML5 format. And access is important. That is how you can access this one. Learning of e-learning platforms, tools, customization, conversion. This is very much important for the librarians. I'm telling you, this thing is very much important. Why? Because this e-learning platform, what are the different types of e-learning platform, how you can generate the contents, what are the different tools, how to customize this one, conversion. Not all, you cannot actually, it's not possible to learn everything, but you have to know something, because whenever you are the facilitator, you have to know that one, what are the pros and cons of every platform. Facilitator or disseminator of e-content for e-learning, free access, open access, fair use access, this thing, and promoter of e-learning based on socio-economic competency of the learners and as well as its effectivity. It is not that almost all e-learning is free. It is not that almost all e-learning courses are rather available free of cost. So you being one social agent, you have to rely on that one, that is the socio-economic competency of the learners, and if possible try to find out those materials which can better enrich them than that of the materials that they have to procure by paying the money or by procure the penny from their pocket. So that is what the important thing. And lastly, you must be a very good aggregator of e-content for better learning, integration, and this should be integrated with the library portal also. Now, these are the references, and lastly, who we are. That is, we see the searchers, facilitators, and all those things. So right now, I will show you that one. That is what more you can do just by presenting that one. That is showing my site where I just try to develop something so that you can have a bit of this one, that is you can develop this thing also, Microsoft PowerPoint, or rather a tab. So share. Now, is it visible?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay, okay. Now see, if you see that one, this is actually my site, and where you can see that one, that is the e-material. If you rather go for that one, creating that one, you will see that one, my e-courses. And once you will be there, you will see this is the Moodle where you can actually Moodle the e-course, and there are actually the different courses available for this one. That is, you being the librarian also can do this one. That is the management of library and information centers, digital sociology, research ethics. So these are the different courses. You can have the access of these different sources from this particular place. Innovative library services. So these are the different courses. Apart from that, so this is what you have to know all these things. And with that one, I can say you something you can integrate with this one also. So see the materials. That is what a kind of, that is a kind of quiz. You can integrate that one with your system, or you have to answer, because just for the sake of this one, just so, and you can see this one, this type of things. It will show you that one whether the answer is right or wrong. So electronic content development is not that much of, so glossary of library terms. So you can go for developing that one also in a library. You can also develop this one. That is, you see the government documents, guides. You can go for H. These are the different types of library terms. You can see. So these are the terms. So contents, you can go for that. And at the same time, you can integrate all of your presentations, that is the PowerPoint presentations, within your site or in the library site, all the sites, and you can play that one from the place itself so that you can deliver that one or you can link that one to your own site or your library site, and you can see all these things are rather actually been seen. So this is what, how you can promote this one. So you can be one fellow of this one also. And I can show you one thing, one software also, by which you can make all these PowerPoint slides like that of the web enabled one, so that you can develop this one of your own. So most of the cases, what happens, suppose you have a very good presentation, or rather you want to go for that one. Direct deliberation is okay. But if you have a PowerPoint slide, PPT, and the problem of PPT is that either you have to have a viewer or else you have to give that one to one fellow who is having Microsoft, so PowerPoint, he can only open that one. So, but now what we can do, that is, suppose we are having, I do have this PPT, and this PPT is actually here. So what I am rather showing you, that is e-learning, suppose this one, final copy. And this particular software or this particular presentation, you can change that one by the help of these softwares. And this is known as active presenter. So different types of softwares are available like that one. I'm just showing you that one. So best softwares for making this one or changing this one is that you can import the PowerPoint from this place, and you can go for the desktop and see this one. So it's already there. So now see, this is what is the presentation. Okay. Only thing is that you have to make this one available for. So just you go to this place, insert and export, and go for this one, that is SC-ROM, and take it and location output, select this place and press OK. And you will see that one, your presentation is already ready for, so this one, eLearning zip. And this particular zip file is now ready for uploading as one electronic content that can be embedded to any web enabled or website. So just for your convenience, I'm showing you that one. This is my site. I'm just trying to integrate that one somewhere. And this one is and this is what I'm managing this one with WordPress. And now see, I'm rather making one page here and trying to adding a page, a new page. And this page, you see, that is what eLearning and Information Society. And only thing is that you have to include that one, that particular thing, what you already made from that. So choose the zip file. I already made the zip file in desktops is this one. That is the demo. Open it and upload. Successful on the file. Okay. eLearning to final. That was not like that. So this was actually the desktop. All files. eLearning 202 final one. Okay. This one. Okay. Just to see this one, just make it archive. So it will take a bit of time, but once you will get that one. So now this one HTML5 zip. Okay. Let's see that is whether these are uploading or not. You can do this thing of your own, but only thing is that you have to, yes, it's already there. So iframe, oh God, there is content library. So presentation, e-learning, e-content development. I think this is the thing, no? E-content development. Insert as library, content library, e-content development. Okay. Insert into post. Okay. Now it's over. Save it. Publish. And now you see view page and you will see that one. That is e-content development is there. So right now you can see this one from any place you want. So I'm just quitting from this particular place. So that is what, just I'm logging out. So now I'm rather stopping my screen also, stop sharing my screen. So with this one, although I had more times for that one, but what I think I have already completed my lecture. Okay. So with this one, so just I have shown you that is what we can do that one. So these things are apart from this, if you have any other thing to know, you can fire me or you can shoot me now. So I'm rather very much ready for taking your answers or questions.
So the session is open for discussion. If anybody have any question or query, can ask Professor Ghosh.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Rupam. Yes.
Yes, sir. Actually, I just want to thank you for such an excellent, enriching and thought-provoking session, sir. What I feel that it was an extensive research of his own based presentation that you have made. And you have rightly started with the concept of proper guidelines for the effective use of e-learning resources. And you have ended with this innovative use of the library sites and softwares, this active presenter that you have shown. So that was immensely helpful for us, sir. And I will
actually, I'm telling you one thing, Rupam. So that is, PowerPoint is a very good thing for making all sites presentations and like that. But only problem with the PowerPoint is that PowerPoint is not helping you to convert that one into web enabled thing. And that is the big problem.
Yes,
And
yes.
you won't get that one anything. You cannot even convert that one into web. But right now, web technology has become so much of accepted. No, every time people are actually asking for web-enabled thing. So this type of software, like you see, this Active Presenter, I can tell you other softwares also. One is the Active Presenter, and other softwares are rather you can say that is Articulate Storyline. That is AR. I'm writing that one in the chat box.
Yes,
That is
sir.
Articulate, articulate, STORY, story, LINE, articulate storyline, and then you say articulate, ARTICULATE, articulate. Just you search by articulate, you will get that one. And then you have another one that is the known as that is Lectora, LECTORA, Lectora Inspire, PIRE, Lectora Inspire, and then Lectora, 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 INSPIRE, Lectora Inspire. And then another, I think almost all the times you have seen this one, iSpring, SPRING, iSpring. But I'm telling you, this thing I'm telling you, all these softwares, this Articulate Storyline, this one is having a price, Articulate Storyline is having a price tag of $1299 per year, which is beyond of $1299 per year, the subscription charge. Lectora is also having the same thing. iSpring is having $970. And the thing Atomy, I shown you that one. This Atomy is having a very lesser prices, but that is also higher for the Indian third world countries. There is $199 for the standard edition and $399 for the Pro edition. And Pro edition is actually helping you to transfer your PowerPoint presentation to web-enabled presentation that you can integrate with web or like that. So obviously, I am searching one particular thing which should be an open access one. And if such open access one is there, you can convert that one to HTML5. That would be much more better. So if I find that one, I will let you know. So this is what is the important thing. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. And sir, another issue is that I will request Barrackpore Rastraguru Surendranath College Library, Central Library and IQAC as well, that if you can also arrange some workshops where we can have some hands-on experience of how to do it properly. There are many other tools, sir.
So I think you better place this proposal to Joydeep as well as the principal of Barrackpore, so that if they are ready to go for such kind of worship, from my part, I am saying you, I am rather free. Whatever I know, I can give you the ultimate that I already learned over the years. Okay, no problem from me.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir.
I would like to second Rupam's view that I too was feeling all around the session that day-long hands-on training session would have been much more helpful, because whatever I felt all throughout this session, that it is a very technologically focused presentation and highly enriching. So I think a day-long session would have been would be more beneficial after this. First, this thing we come to know, and second, better to have better access over that. As sir has already said, that guiding principle that in this well-organized orchestra, I write the term.
Right, that should be a well-organized orchestra.
Well-organized orchestra. What we are lacking is the guiding principle as teachers.
Yes.
And as Dr. Srinivas said, we are now more facilitators than teacher and remembering. And he also recollected Einstein's quote that providing the environment of learning. And that goes very much in tune with what you said, that we need the guiding principle. And I think yes, sir. And I think a day-long hands-on training session could better equip us with that guiding principle which we need today, with support from all of our institutional authorities and frameworks in which we work. We can better or make optimal use of this scenario. Sir, I have admired your presentation and I liked it very much. So many positive comments pouring in. Maybe they also thinking the same way that a day-long session would have been more beneficial. And I'm highly inspired by your website also. I would definitely visit that, and
No,
I am and having a
say,
keen interest. Yeah.
no, actually, you see, all these things are not very much tough as the people actually say. It is rather actually the job of the individuals if you have some bit of passion, only a bit of passion. See, I didn't take any technical help from anyone. I learned all these things of my own. And that is what, whenever you learn, that was the, you know, that one in English language, one is that you have that one, that is the deep learning, that is the text. And right now,
Exactly.
so actually, so that is what আমরা বাংলায় বলি পাঠ এবং নিবিড় পাঠ. And that
Nibiri
is
part.
what নিবিড় পাঠ. That is what we require, that one. That is, if you go for that thing, and obviously everything is possible. And actually, that was the WordPress. And I think each and every teacher must have his global presence right now, because people are not getting them. That is what the intuit they are having, what the sparks they are having, what the things they are actually delivering to the knowledge society. It is not getting reflected anywhere. Only the recorded knowledge or printed knowledge cannot actually judge their intellect. And that's why
Exactly.
you require one such platform by which you can deliver. You can say it is not a kind of promotion. It is just a kind of thing that is, yes, I am. If you require me, you can actually ask me too. It is a kind of participative one, a kind of collaborative approach. That is what, that's
Exactly.
for why I am actually telling you. This thing is very
Yes.
important.
Being netizens of this information society will be definitely a very exciting journey onwards, with
Obvious.
some guiding principles from experts like you who have dedicated yourselves to develop yourself as well as the other netizens of this information society. So many positive comments coming in from different
Yeah.
participants. I can feel that. If
Okay.
anyone, if anyone else
Okay.
having any question or any doubt clearing, any comments, if you want to say it yourself instead of putting it in the chat box, we would like to invite that.
Oh, Anamika, there. Okay, I got that one. You are from Netaji Subhash, no? You are from Netaji Subhash University. And you are doing on instructional design. Your PhD is on instructional design. And right now you are actually asking about that one? No. Okay then.
I'm thankful to you not only for this for your delivery, to come to seminar into workshop. Actually, you first theoretically guided us what to or what is or what are those guidelines are like. Then you showed your work and how to do that. And Bhutan has Madam Nandi host also perfectly requested you to find or make having some workshop session for us, ready to do that for us. Okay, so I have one question. We are getting e-content. There are so many applications with e-content, e-learning. We are very much advanced on distance education. I know what are the features for distance education, and for this kind of education, we are very much going through this all the not only the distance education institution, but also the conventional education conventional institutions are also going through the different modes to e-learning. But one question I always ask when I went through this e-learning platform, one question always I say that if teaching learning process for psychomotor brain, suppose domain of learning is sufficient, where skill-based teaching learning process is research. But can we deliver skill-based learning process in psychomotor like in affective or cognitive domain, it is okay for is the time. But wherever the skill-based learning is required, is it sufficient to, I know that blended learning is there, but how much efficient the e-learning is?
So actually, I lost your question with your actually the deliberation itself, because I already lost the question, and at the same time, what happened? Your voice was coming as a distorted one, so I couldn't even actually understood what the question was. So can anyone help me that one? What
So
she really
I'm repeating.
repeating again from the very beginning?
Only the
No,
exact
only the
question.
question. You repeat the question only. Okay.
Okay. Now there are two major learning domains: cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain very much deals with the skill-based learning. And my question is specifically for psychomotor domain, is it sufficient or how much e-learning is sufficient for psychomotor domain of learning?
How much e-learning is sufficient for?
Psychomotor domain of learning, skill-based
Oh,
domain of learning.
okay, okay, okay. I got that one. See, let me tell you one thing. E-learning is not a panacea, or e-learning is not actually a kind of savior, or e-learning can resolve all issues, everything. E-learning is rather a particular mode of teaching right now, and it was there. Don't think that one it is a new thing. We are rather right now compelled, and that's why you are actually taking help of it. But e-learning was always there. EDX, Coursera, all these things were there, and many of us did all different types of certificate courses from those places. Okay. But one thing is that that one, those certificate courses are not valid in UGC prescriptions. If you have one EDX certificate, till date, the IQACs of different universities and colleges, they don't consider that one as rather a kind of, you can say, authenticated this one. But if you get one thing from Shyam or rather repeat Patsala or like that, it will be enforced. Okay. Now, question is that one, whether one particular mode of teaching is viable or not, that depends on what is the content and how much content, or rather relevant content, and in what way that is being disseminated, and what is the outcome of it, whether any kind of feasibility study has been made for that one or not. That is the most important thing. Do you know that one? If you see in electronic learning in Shyam and other places, what are the dropout measures? We are always talking about this one. I didn't tell all those issues. But you know that one, many people are rather registering in Shyam and other places, but they are not completing the whole thing. That's because this is rather a kind of self-paced study, and people are having that one self-paced study, and people are starting that one with a bang, but they are rather retrieving, they are actually retracting like that one as a snail, or rather that is the big problem with their e-learning. Why? Because many a times they are rather thinking that one, this is taking too much of time. I just want to have a certificate within a week, or rather they are just bothering to. So most of the cases, the e-learning is having a structure that I am talking about. That is what the Professor Srinivas also told that one. Instructional design, that you also know that one. Instructional design is a science. And whenever you are rather delivering a content through electronic mode also, there must have a kind of logical sequence of materials there, until and unless the structure is there. So the total thing will be actually the deconstructed, and obviously the outcome will be zero. And that's why, for your own question, the very question what you are saying, that one, whether it is applicable or not, applicability can only be judged after implementation and after evaluation. What we can do that one, we can only say that one, that is e-learning is rather a kind of, right now it is booming, or rather it is having some kind of impetus to penetrate. And that is what is the important thing. So that is what I actually try to say.
Thank you.
Okay. You better ask me that one over telephone, okay? If you want more. Okay.
Okay. I got
Thank you, sir.
I can read through over question.
Joydeep is Joydeep is laughing, you know. Joydeep is laughing. If you want more, you
I've
better ask.
been able to read through over telephone. I've been
Okay. Thank you.
doing
Enough. Now stop, please. Any other one is having any question? Or rather, okay, Joydeep, so if it is the thing, then we can have a cup of tea. Virtual.
Yeah, sure.
Virtual.
Actually,
Okay. Okay then. So announce it.
Okay, Jaideep, shall we announce?
yeah.
Okay, with this, we come to the end of this session with this highly enriching talk from Professor Ghosh. And now it's time for a virtual lunch break at our own place, respective places. Very advantage as well as disadvantage of these virtual platforms. So let us go for our respective lunches, and we can take 40 to 45 minutes time. I think it's 2. Till now we are running as per our schedule, which is very positive in this virtual platform. So it's 2. I think we can reassemble again at 2:45. I think is a decent time enough to have a good lunch.
Okay.
So at
Make
2:45.
it 2:40 so that we can start the session by
Yeah,
2:35.
exactly. So we will
Okay.
reassemble again at 2:40 with our paper presentation session or technical session 3. Following that, there will be a valedictory session. And so as Jaideep said, we will reassemble at 2:40, and so that we can start the session as per our schedule, 2:45 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you again,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Gore. Thank you,
Oh,
Jaideep.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saptarshi.